Hello, Catherine Perry here from Big Vision Mastermind, and I want to say thank you so much for stopping by the page. And what you may not know is this, that the reason you stopped by the page is the reason we created Big Vision Mastermind, and it's this. You have this desire that is asking to be met and answered, to be seen and known and free to express, and you have not quite found the way to make that happen. You may have gone out and gotten the job, you may have created some success in other areas of your life, you may have gotten into relationships, you may have taken additional training, furthered your education, started a business, yet there is something in you that is saying, it's not enough. It's not quite right. You may be getting results in your life that you are not pleased with. You may not be earning enough money. You may not be having the impact that you desire. You may be doing a lot of efforting, but not getting any return on your efforts. You may be experiencing frustration or struggle or opposition, and you don't know what's going on. You could just be straight up stuck and not know why you can't get a new idea, why you can't get motivated to take certain actions, why you keep getting caught up in other people's chaos, or as soon as you start getting closer, the harder it gets, and then you wind up collapsing or dropping the ball, or something from outside of you just kind of like sneaks in and steals it away, and then you are having to start all over again. You're upset with yourself, with your circumstances. Something has to change. And so you investigate and you go on the web and you look for information, and maybe you've taken classes. Hey, I did that. And I said, well, maybe the problem is I need to learn more about marketing or communication, or I need to understand tactics when I'm thinking about my business. Maybe I need to take a look at the systems, and all of that is crucial. It's very important. But if you are coming from the wrong mindset, if you're coming from the wrong attitude, if you're coming from the wrong idea about who you are and what's available to you, then all that new information is going to get it's going to be overloading. It's going to be overwhelming. You won't be able to take action anyway, and you're going to wind up with a closet full of stuff that you're not using. You'll go to another conference, you'll buy more stuff, you might even invest in coaching, and you'll get so close, but still nothing will happen. And you don't know why, because you're doing the right stuff. Even though it may not feel right, or intellectually you go, I'm a smart person. I should be able to figure this out. I can do this. I know this. It looks fine on paper, so where is the problem with execution? Have you gone through this? Well, that's why you're here, and this is why we created Big Vision Mastermind, because the secret to your success is you. The vision, the dream, the desire, everything that you need, you are processing through your experience, through your awareness, okay? And everything that you are experiencing right now in your life is based upon what you thought was possible, what you secretly, internally believed you deserved. It was based on what potential you thought was available to you, based on probably what someone else told you. But you know what? It really has not been matching that inner vision. But maybe you have an inner vision. There's some things you'd like to do. Maybe you just know that you want to be able to support yourself in a way that's different than the way that you were taught to support yourself. Like going and getting a regular job is not an option for most people, for two reasons. One, perhaps the jobs don't exist anymore. But two, circumstances in their life, their health, their obligations, but also just where their drive and passion is just does not exist anymore. Frankly, I'm there. I'm at an age, I've worked since I'm age 13. I grew up working in my family's grocery stores. I went and got a job for pay the minute I could, because growing up in my family grocery store, my parents didn't see the point in paying their children for a business that was supporting the family. They thought that they were teaching us experience, which was great, but I had other needs and other things I wanted, so my work ethic, which thankfully I got from my parents, drove me out, and I went and earned money in other places. So most of my life, I have been a worker. I have been interested in business. I've started businesses. I helped people build their business. I've helped people achieve financial goals that they didn't think possible. I did that in regular industry, and I did it out on my own. But you know what? I had this deep dissatisfaction. I couldn't quite experience success. Even though on paper it looked like there was success, I'm traveling, I'm teaching, I'm having a great time. I've got the best relationship with my family ever. And yet, I keep having these health challenges. I keep getting worn out. There's just still some mismatch, and I could not figure out what it was. About the time I started on my investigation, I left the company. I left my position as a CEO. I said, I want to investigate this because I've spent my life doing and pursuing this goal, but I never, there's still something about me that's not right. I should be able to talk about myself succinctly, like who are you and what do you do? Big panic moment in my life. If you go to networking meetings, do you ever go through that? Or like, oh, let's list out your credentials. Well, there's a lot that I've accomplished, but I don't necessarily have traditional credentials, so that created this deep insecurity or lack of self-esteem because I didn't quite have the measurements, but I knew I had something and I had an impact I created, but there was still like all these pieces that were kind of like hanging out in space of, like some skills, some strategies, I had some resources, but I couldn't get it together. And it wasn't until that I went through the experience of losing my mom to cancer, like the year leading up to it, the year afterwards, that I really found out that all my tricks and tactics and everything I did before really didn't work, and I really couldn't experience success within myself because I didn't know who I was. I was in the wrong internal position of kind of like being that kid who had to work growing up, didn't really get their needs met, and my parents had the success, but I never really got to celebrate the family success, and my role was to be a worker and to provide and give, but I really was never really thought about what I really wanted. That wasn't a big question in our family. It was what must be done, and this is happening, and get on board. And so I was getting on board with all this stuff my whole life, right? Well, that's what we're trained to do, to be good people. You've been getting on board, you've been going out, you've been doing it, you did everything in your power, and yet you have kept hitting walls. Well, the Big Vision Mastermind is designed for two reasons. One, so that you could meet yourself in a new way and ask new questions, because that is finally what happened. That is what started turning everything around. That is what created cohesion. And as I started introducing these techniques to my clients, they started getting big shifts. Suddenly they had clarity, there was motivation, there was this new cooperation, innovation started happening, and they started to be able to develop relationships with key people. Opportunities started flying in, and all this started happening because they started really asking these key questions. And I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. Instead of saying, who am I and where do I fit in and who will buy my services and what is my niche, and I just was like still trying to be this peg, not even knowing what shape of peg I was, trying to fit into some different holes or trying to like carve out holes or whatever, right? Bad metaphor. But I never really said, hey, who do I want to be? What impact do I want to have in the world? And how do I want to create a business that will support that aspect of myself? How do I create a business that will support me in a way that's authentic, that gives me freedom, that creates the income that I want and need in order to feel safe, secure, happy, fulfilled? But also, what do I want to do? How do I want to spend my days? And to come up into that position of being the one who is creating it and asking those questions versus the one who's finding myself in a situation and trying to figure out all this stuff, it flipped everything like it just was like this complete 180 flip in my life, and everything started clicking together. I was able to start writing, my creativity started flowing, ideas, people started showing up. And I've got to tell you that since I started implementing these ideas, I'm just going to let you know, for me personally, my income this year is set to double my best year ever, based on some partnerships that I'm doing, some projects that I've been wanting to do, and the reach and the connections that are starting to just like magically appear, joint ventures, all of that stuff. And what would it be like if your year doubled? What would it be like if you started asking yourself new questions and saying, who do I want to be and how do I want to show up in the world? What do I want to create that will serve others, but also I can do it authentically and do it in a way that is in alignment with my unique mission, purpose, my skill set, my energy levels, how I want to spend the time, right? How can I do that so all that works together cohesively? Well, that's what we're doing in Big Vision Mastermind. So we're going to be delivering this in kind of in a way that's super targeted. We're going to be having weekly teleconferences. Actually, it's more of a webinar. You get on, we've got a teaching, but then you're taken through a process each. So this is how we developed it. Each week you're going to be getting a lesson. It's going to be very short and targeted. Then you're going to be taken through a strategy or a process to help you get your thinking shifted. But then you are going to be taken through a action strategy so that you can get closer to your goal. We're going to be working with an amazing guy named Mukesh Sharma, who is a 6 Sigma black belt, and his genius is project management and let's create systems, but he's able to kind of pull that system outside of people so that they can replicate and create operations for their values, and so that they can get those end results. So got some wonderful like left brain, right brain stuff happening. Then we're going to be bringing in some, daily tips and strategies. We want to create support for you, and then there's going to be a little membership group so you can connect with the other people, that you have people to network with, and we just want to create levels of support for you so that it's at your fingertips. It will come directly to your email. You'll have a membership area to go to, and you can access the materials, and we want you to be able to contribute back to the group. More than what can we give you, we want to create a space that you can share your gifts with others, and there'll be more about that later. But right now, the way that you get in Big Vision Mastermind, and we've done our best to make it as affordable as possible for as many people as possible, because we have a big vision for creating millionaires on the planet, for helping people start that business and getting them up and running as quickly as possible. That's our big vision. So all you got to do is, there's a button below, click on the button, it'll take you to the payment page, you'll get set up, and then information is going to be coming directly to your email. Hey, there's much more to tell you about this, so if you want to investigate more, go ahead and take time, read the page, but just take action today. We created this for you. You have been searching for this. It's your turn. It's your time. The answer is inside of you, and we are here to witness your greatness and support whatever it is that you want to create in the world. So until next time, this is Catherine Perry, and I am witnessing your greatness. Bye-bye.